A top political development today, and this is coming from the state of Bengal, where senior BJP leader Mukul Roy is all set to return to Mamata's Trinamool Congress. Mukul Roy has chosen a Ghar Wapsi to TMC and is meeting Mamata and her nephew Abhishek Banerjee in the TMC office in Kolkata right now. Mukul Roy has reportedly been miffed with the leadership of the BJP for being sidelined after the entry of Suvendu Adhikari in the party. Mukul Roy quit the TMC in September 2017 after having a fallout with Mamata Banerjee, reportedly over the rise of her nephew Abhishek Banerjee in the party. 2 months later, he joined the BJP and was instrumental in making several TMC loyalists jump ship.
আমাকে যেতে দাও ভাই, আমি তো সামনে নেই, আমি তো দরজায় দাঁড়িয়ে আছি। আমি তৃণমূল ভবন যাচ্ছি, চলো।
Paulmisa is getting us more details on that story. Paulmi, return of Mukul Roy to the TMC, perhaps a big shot in the arm of the TMC, but more so because this really had become a huge ego battle, especially in the run-up to the elections in Bengal, right? Okay, we'll just go back to Paulmi in a bit from now, but the story is of Mukul Roy, who used to be at one point in time the closest aide of Mamata Banerjee, had left her in a setback to the TMC and had joined the Bharatiya Janata Party. Paulmi is back with us. Paulmi, how do you view these developments? And also, there would be a concern, I think, within the BJP that this was the man who was instrumental in bringing many from the TMC to the BJP, and his going back to TMC would also mean the return of the others as well, possibly, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That is definitely being speculated, at the moment with Mukul Roy jumping ship back towards the TMC. Who could be possibly next? Who could be headed back towards the TMC? We know that Rajiv Banerjee, one of the TMC turncoats who switched over to the Bharatiya Janata Party just a short while before the assembly elections, has already expressed his discontent as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned. He has said that, the time for criticism of elected government is over and we should do some amount of introspection. Also, one of the very surprise entries from the TMC into the Bharatiya Janata Party in the run-up to the assembly elections was then Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament Dinesh Trivedi, who switched as well. He was also considered to be one of the key people as far as the TMC functioning is concerned, in terms of the TMC hierarchy, considered to be very close to the Chief Minister, someone who had been with the Chief Minister since the inception days of the Trinamool Congress. Again, many speculating as to how he views this latest development. Would he consider possibly, going back? So there are many who have switched over, and now there is a sense of concern, which is exactly what Shopun Dasgupta is trying to assuage when he's put out a tweet saying, yes, a setback is a concern, but we are trying to course correct. It will become evident in some point of time, and the BJP will build on the 2.2 crore votes that it polled in these assembly elections. So there's no need for you to feel discontent. The Karyakartas, old or new, as he says, you don't need to feel discontent. You do not need to go into a shell, but you have to realize that the party will build itself upwards from here on. So the BJP is sending out feelers to those on the ground who might be viewing this latest development as a major blow to the Bharatiya Janata Party, thinking that could this possibly start a reverse flow of those who had come from the TMC into the Bharatiya Janata Party, from the Bharatiya Janata Party back to the TMC. So that is an area of concern which BJP will of course have to address on the front foot.
All right, Paulmi, be with us. We'll just come back to you for more details in just a bit from now. Meanwhile, the story is developing. We are expecting to hear from the Chief Minister of Bengal as well. But before that, let's understand the Mukul Mamata reconnect. Mukul Roy has spoken to Didi 4 times in the last 1 week or so. Mukul Roy and Mamata Banerjee have spoken over the phone. Didi and Mukul were keen on a reunion before elections. Didi spoke to Mukul at the Victoria Memorial event as well. This is what sources are telling India Today. Indrajit Kundu is getting us more details on that front. TMC also welcoming back Mukul Roy at a time when several Rather, unparliamentary things were also said about the functioning of the TMC from Mukul Roy. He was very unforgiving when it came to criticism against Abhishek Banerjee. But Indrajit, at the end of the day, I think no permanent friends and no permanent enemies in politics, isn't it?
Well, Sneha, they say politics, it's the art of possibilities, and there is nothing called impossible as far as politics is concerned. But as you said, one interesting facet of Mukul Roy's journey in the BJP over the last 4 years is that there hasn't been an explicit, overt criticism of Mamata Banerjee. And that's perhaps the reason why in April, right at the fag end of her campaigning at Nandigram, Mamata Banerjee, when she was addressing her last campaign rally at Nandigram, I clearly remember she had said that Mukul otota kharap na hoy, Mukul isn't that bad. And that, shows the kind of relationship that these two leaders have shared. And of course, given the fact that Mukul Roy has been feeling more and more sidelined within the BJP in the past couple of months, ever since 2019 Lok Sabha elections, to be very frank. And we've been following Mukul Roy very closely. Ever since the 4th and the 5th phase of elections, we were seeing Mukul Roy going completely dormant as far as the BJP's campaign is concerned, when the BJP, in a sense, projected Shubhendu Adhikari as its main face in West Bengal. Shubhendu Adhikari was not just confined to Nandigram. He went ahead in other districts of West Bengal after Nandigram elections got over, and he was campaigning as their star campaigner across West Bengal. There was a lot of buzz then as to where exactly is Mukul Roy. During the election in Krishnanagar, I happened to speak to Mukul Roy, and I did ask him as to what is it about his absence from this entire thing. He said that I'm focusing clearly on Krishnanagar. And look, the irony of the situation at this point in time, Mukul Roy won his first ever election from Krishnanagar this year on a BJP ticket, and today he will be sharing dice with his former boss, Mamata Banerjee, here at the Trinamool Congress Party office. It's not a normal press conference, mind you, Sneha, because in general, Mamata Banerjee doesn't really address press conferences from the Trinamool Congress Party office. You generally see her addressing press conferences from her Kalighat residence. This, of course, is going to be very, very symbolic, and the symbolism and the imagery is not lost on anyone, because the Trinamool Congress wants to send across a very, very strategic and stern message to the BJP. Remember, there are other leaders who are turncoat Trinamool Congress leaders who are in the pipeline. There is a lot of talk about them possibly being inducted into the TMC. Will that happen? Because just a few days back, there was a working committee meeting that took place here at this very party office, and a decision to take a final call on inducting or re-inducting turncoat Trinamool Congress leaders have been placed with none other than Trinamool Supremo Mamata Banerjee.
All right, Indrajit, thanks for getting us those details. Indrajit Kundu with that story from Bengal. Well, Mukul Roy has returned to the TMC, but just a few weeks ago, he was hitting out in Mamata Banerjee and a government. So what really has brought about this U-turn?
The peoples of Bengal are fed up and frustrated with Mamata. I am quite sure in this parliament election, Mamata will not able to cross the halfway mark of the parliament seats.
We are fighting against the Mamata's undemocratic attitude. We have gone from post to pillar. We are going to the court. We went to the peoples, and we are hopeful that peoples will resist Mamata, her undemocratic activities.
तृणमूल तो एक एक जगह में एक एक नीति लेता है. सिंगूर में एक बोल रहा है, राजारहाट में एक बोल रहा है, नंदीग्राम के एक बोल रहा है, भांगड़ में एक बोल रहा है. उसको कोई तो यूनिफॉर्म पॉलिसी नहीं है. वो तृणमूल पार्टी का कोई नियम नीति आदर्श कुछ नहीं है. वो और एक दो बरस में वो खत्म हो जाएंगे.
राम और दुर्गा का कोई अंतर नहीं है, फर्क नहीं है. दुर्गा जी का जो है, दुर्गा जी हम लोगों का सबका देवी है. तो दुर्गा जी का साथ राम जी का कोई फर्क नहीं है. ये ममता जी खुद तैयार करने चाहता है, लेकिन ये बंगाल में होगा नहीं.
Paulmi continues to be with us. Paulmi, the other big question here is the role of his son in influencing the father, joining the BJP and now joining the TMC once again, joining back the TMC. Tell us a little more about the role of Shubhranshu in all of this.
Well, obviously, Shubhranshu is one of the two who has obviously come out openly and expressed his desire to return to the TMC fold, and hence it is being presumed that, Shubhranshu had a huge role to play in his father's decision eventually to return to the TMC. But mind you, it is not just simply about Shubhranshu putting pressure on his father. Mukul Roy obviously has taken a very calculated decision based on his own compulsions possibly, or his reasons for believing that he has been sidelined in the Bharatiya Janata Party, especially with the entry of Shubhendu Adhikari and his rise to prominence in the Bharatiya Janata Party, because of which the senior Roy has in fact taken the decision to return to the TMC fold. It's very interesting to point out as well, earlier in 2017, Sneha, when Mukul Roy had jumped ship from the TMC to the Bharatiya Janata Party, it was said at that point of time that he was possibly trying to protect himself against the various cases which had been slapped against him in the Naradasteen case, for instance, for which he was being investigated, and the CBI was obviously investigating those cases. So he was trying to quote-unquote protect himself by jumping ship as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned. Now, if you look at recent developments in Kolkata as well, one cannot help but notice that recently West Bengal CID had lodged an FIR, and sections of murder were in fact lodged against Mukul Roy by West Bengal CID in the case of the death of a TMC MLA Satyajit Biswas, and this was done as late as December 2020. A supplementary charge sheet was filed. Now, this is something that, BJP sources are indicating towards as well. Is Mukul Roy trying to protect himself, quote unquote, yet again? So there could be multiple reasons because of which Mr. Roy could have chosen that now is the time for him to go back to the mothership, but clearly something that the BJP will have to, in a sense, assess as to what the damage is, if at all, as far as this exit is concerned.
All right.
Sneha.
Be with us, Palmi. We'll just come back to you for more on that. But is Mukul Roy really an asset for the party or a liability? Let's take a look. Is the Ghar Wapsi of Mukul Roy, but is he going to be an asset for the TMC or a liability for the TMC? What are Mukul Roy's strengths really? Huge political clout and acumen there, at least in the state of Bengal. He knows Bengal politics in and out, absolutely. Weaknesses that he's been accused in the Narda and the Sharda scams. There's a problem, there's a taint in that sense. Apart from that, he's worked closely with the top leadership of TMC and the BJP, and also is known to be a backroom political strategist. The weakness, like I said again, is his being accused in the Narda and the Sharda scams. Also, ambitions of being Chief Minister in the state of Bengal. He's always had those ambitions. Also, now he's going to be seen as somebody who's been opportunistic. So that's going to be a tag that's going to be there with him for a while now, because he left the TMC, joined the BJP, joining the TMC back again. But his strength again is that he knows how the BJP in these last 2 or 3 odd years has functioned, because he's worked with the BJP. He's also has had a reputation as a backroom political strategist. But weakness is that no history of individual electoral success. So there's a problem as far as electoral politics is concerned. Let's now take a look at the mega rebellion that BJP is facing. Mukul Roy back in the TMC. Shamik Bhattacharya skipped the party meeting. Rajiv Banerjee has hit out at BJP's precedent rule demand. Sonali Guha apologized to TMC for joining the BJP. Dipindu Biswas also apologized to TMC for joining the BJP.